Joe in real life. I'm incredibly sore still. I've been doing some mobility and some kicking around this morning to try and mobilize. It's not happening. I'm going to do some kind of front squat workout with some kind of pull variation as a couplet and just call it. I'm excited and happy that I am so devastated because it's kind of sent me down a rabbit hole to unearth some of these mechanical issues that I've been plagued with for really a decade now, and that yoga exasperated. To be clear, yoga helped me with numerous problems, but this one problem in particular, my hip dysplasia, it only made worse. It only made more exaggerated and more unpleasant. So that's what I'm working on today. This is turning into kind of an extension of my deload week, which I don't feel great about. But also, what are you gonna do? It's super, super hot, dangerously hot. And the body doesn't want to do this stuff. If I'm in Georgia next year at this time, I'm going to radically revamp August for training. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but I'm being pretty thorough in my notes that business as usual during August just isn't a thing. It's not something that can happen. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I wanted to talk about Barbie again, and I don't know where to start. I was thinking about it last night because I really, really enjoyed the Barbie movie. And this surprised me a little bit because the messaging of the Barbie movie I don't love. In fact, there are points of it that I find pretty offensive and pretty short-sighted. But the movie, oh, what an ambitious movie. What a well-directed, well-performed, well-written, well-produced movie. While I didn't really enjoy the messaging, it was delivered really well and really it was the argument, the central thematic arguments were really well executed, really well presented, just a powerhouse film that I'm not completely on board with messaging wise, right? And I guess I should say, what I'm taking the central message in the movie, and opinions are going to vary on this, but that you need to invest in yourself as an individual identity, specifically a female identity, but they also do this with Ken, that you have to understand you first, and foremost, number one priority, before you can really do or get or succeed in any venue. And I fundamentally disagree with that. Fundamentally. I think that there is no path to knowing yourself and truly actualizing yourself without other people. And that we do this best when we're coupled in a loving, committed relationship with another person. That other person, somewhat ironically in a storytelling context, acts as a foil to you and reveals you to you. And you cannot reveal yourself to you. You need another person to do that. And it has to be someone that you trust completely, you know? Am I maybe misreading the central theme of Barbie a little bit? It seems like it's a girl power movie, and that's not really a girl power theme, or not necessarily, at least. Maybe it's possible I am. I only saw it once. I am eager to see it again. Oppenheimer as well. I'm trying to stay away from the low-hanging fruit in kind of analyzing this movie. Obviously, there are feminist themes, second wave feminist themes, first wave feminist themes, and they're They kind of hit you over the head with them a little bit. I didn't really have any problem with those themes. I think that by and large, they're accurate and worth repeating, if somewhat ham-fistedly. But something was nagging at me, and that theme of individual primacy over all else, I don't like it. I don't. I think it's pretty inaccurate. I think it's well delivered and well argued and untrue. So yeah, I'm going to talk about Barbie. I'm going to phone in another lazy workout, and I'm going to talk about Barbie. And it's awesome. It's what you've always wanted. All right, maybe not. But hey, go see Barbie if you haven't. You know, go with a woman in your life and go see Barbie. I think you're going to have an experience, you know, and it may not be 100% pleasant. It's not going to be your favorite movie. But I thought Barbie was really powerful. And worth seeing, even if you disagree with it, because it opens up that conversation in a very real way. And it is a shockingly thorough exploration of that theme. Okay, that's it. Stay tuned. One of the tricks that I really thought was hugely clever in the Barbie movie was that, like, the movie takes place in our world and the Barbie world, the toy world. And the toy world, this is kind of a subtext, but everything that's happening in the toy world, the themes that are being addressed in the toy world, are informed by how people are playing with the toys. So some of what we're seeing it's not idealized aspects of the creator in the Barbie world. It's what they imagine young people who are playing with these toys are playing through, almost therapeutically, and then shown to us on screen. Like, that's kind of a confusing idea, and it's really, really irritatingly meta. But they play it as subtext. So, like, you could completely ignore that idea. Like, that you can play really fast and loose with that. That doesn't even have to be true, you know? Now, we have some precedent for it. It's established in the story, you know, like the flat feet, the cellulite, the pervasive fears of death, you know? The mother of our protagonist, or the very protagonist herself, is creating Barbies with these ideas, like reimagining stereotypical Barbie. And so we see that effect happening down chain. But we also see, like, Ken's transformation, other Barbie's transformation, them giving up their careers and whatnot, because it's just easier. And the Kens are this crazy infighting and jealousy. And we have to imagine that, to a degree, this is being informed by people playing with toys in the real world. Now, the movie doesn't put too much stock in that concept, and honestly, that was a smart move. It's really, really clever, because it allows it to be true, but only true, it's ambiguously true. It's only true to the degree that the individual viewer wants it to be true. Chef kiss on that one. Like, master stroke, you know? Because how much like reality is that, you know? How much of reality are we actually free will, free thinking human being, just engaging with the world independently, versus how much of it is informed by others, informed by how the world plays with us. And that's a really, really heady philosophical question. By the way, my workout. This is just me working up to my heavy single. I did some other work and I filmed it, but it was ugly. And I was getting cramps. I was getting dizzy. Like, today's just a loser. It is so hot in my garage. There's nothing for it. Like, weirdly, the weights moved fine, but man, I felt awful. And it's the kind of, when the temperature outside makes you feel like you have the flu? That's how it is. Like, I did some farmer's carries, not ambitious at all. And as soon as I put them down, I thought I was going to throw up. And I was like, maybe I really am sick. And I went upstairs for a second to go pee. And once the AC hit me, I felt fine. So I'm not sick. It's nothing like that. It's just hot. And it's a little windy right now. I'm going to try and talk a little louder. It just feels like a dryer is blowing in my face. Really, really awful. No reprieve at all. But anyway, I believe the central theme of the Barbie movie is individuality. And I believe they put a much too high a standard and value on individuality than is honestly good, is safe, Now, this makes some sense, right? Because, like, if you think about the history of dolls teaching women to be mothers, and like just that whole like sort of archetypal position that women are sort of funneled into, or were funneled into, to fight back with like possibility, individuality, creativity, motivation, success, striving. That definitely makes sense. And certainly as like a broad stroke message, it's completely understandable and completely good. But I do think they go too far with it. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. And it took me a couple days to really figure out why. Because we need each other, We're in this life game together. It's a team sport. And without each other, we drift. We drift too far, Our normative standards are these things because we have all collectively voted on them. We did this subconsciously or unconsciously. But normative values, as oppressive and shitty as they can feel at times, keep us safe as a community and as a people and as a family and as a friend group. And these things are absolutely vital to our identity as an individual. In fact, I would argue that they're essential, that there is no individual without them. We need to understand the borders between ourselves and others. And we need to understand what our borders are as a group and what these subgroups are capable of and not capable of. And part of the confusion with this sort of like often absurd woke movement is that we fail to acknowledge that we are limited. We are limited as individuals, we are limited as small groups, we are limited as a nation. Just because we can imagine a solution doesn't mean we can execute a solution, Equity is a good example. Like equity amongst all people in our country is a beautiful idea. And like equity of opportunity and equity of wealth. But our economy and our opportunities are finite. They cannot be equalized. To say nothing of the logistical challenge of attempting to equalize them, there is not enough to go around. There simply isn't, If there are billionaires, there must be starving people. There's no way around this, And unless your plan is like totally socialistic, in that we reclaim this wealth and redistribute it, it's not going to work. There's no way it'll work. Now, I kind of got derailed there. Barbie's not making a communist argument. It's making an idealized argument. It's idealistic, and I can relate to that. And I have great sympathy for that standpoint, But Well, maybe just this. It throws out way too many idealistic nets and pulls them back in with nothing in them, you know? And that bothered me. Now, that's a relatively minor complaint because otherwise, as I said earlier, it's an exceedingly well executed movie. Really, really impressive sets, really impressive CGI, really funny, like uproariously funny at points, and great performances. I forget Ken's name, the handsome guy, but he just really embraced the role. Margot Robbie obviously was great and certainly fit the bill, like almost disturbingly so, you know? And overall, I highly endorse this movie. It does have some problems, and maybe those problems are more prescient for me because I'm a middle-aged white guy who is definitely not the target audience. Now, that could be true, and it's completely fine, but they still stand, right? You know, after all, we're in this together. So yeah, today's a staker. I'm talking about Barbie. I'm barely working out. I think I am going to try a run later today, but other than that, I'm just going to go easy. I'm still unbearably sore. My glutes today are destroyed. I tried as hard as I could to stretch them out and put some mobility in them. You can see with me walking back and forth here, I'm kind of hunched like an old man. It looks like you put a cane in that right hand, and maybe I could straighten out that back a little bit, get out of that hip hinge just a little bit. But I'm just so sore. I feel terrible. What are you gonna do? You know, they can't all be winners, and the last three have been decidedly poor. What else? Do I have anything else? Our clock's running out. I'm about to get up and down with this 155. This is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Be good to each other out there. I'm going to try hard to do the same. I have my kids tonight. I'm really excited for that. That squat looked good. I don't know what I'm crying about. Yeah, it looked okay at least. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do something. Actually do some exercise. Thinking about some Ben Patrick. So I'll see you then.